Harvard researchers examining Japanese centenarians uncovered that they all share a single ancient breathing pattern that effectively rewires the brain for longevity. When this was tested on Americans over the age of 60, the outcomes were so unexpected that attempts were made to downplay the findings. What emerged was not random variation. It was measurable biological change. Brain imaging revealed areas believed to be inactive suddenly becoming active, similar to cities illuminated at night. Inflammatory markers fell by 47%. What challenged existing beliefs even further was this. Participants who practiced this breathing method for only 90 days showed cellular indicators commonly seen in people 7 years younger. This technique has existed in plain sight for over 5,000 years, practiced daily by the longest living population on Earth. Today, you will learn exactly how it works. But first, let's examine what is happening inside your body right now. Every 7 seconds, someone over 60 experiences a moment they rarely discuss. They reach for a word, and it disappears. They stand up and feel their balance waver. They climb stairs and notice their breathing cannot match their movement. These are not minor inconveniences. They are biological warning signals that something essential is declining. Your brain is being deprived of oxygen, not suddenly or dramatically, but gradually, cell by cell, year after year. Reduced oxygen delivery leads to lower levels of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the protein responsible for keeping neurons alive and connected. Without sufficient BDNF, the hippocampus contracts, the prefrontal cortex becomes less active, memory formation slows, and decision-making becomes unclear. And the impact extends beyond the brain. Your mitochondria, the microscopic power generators in every cell, struggle to function efficiently. When oxygen processing is impaired, they produce less ADP and generate more oxidative stress. In simple terms, reduced energy, increased inflammation, and faster aging. You experience this as morning stiffness, afternoon fatigue, and a growing feeling that your body is no longer fully familiar. Here is the reality few doctors openly explain. Independence does not vanish overnight. It wears away in small moments. The moment you need assistance to open a jar, the moment you turn down an invitation because you're unsure you can manage the stairs, the moment you recognize that your daily choices are shaped by your limits rather than your interests. Time is not simply moving forward. It is slowly taking parts of you along the way. But what if Japanese neuroscientists have identified a precise mechanism that can reverse this decline? In 2018, researchers at the University of Tuba carried out a groundbreaking study on how oxygen is used in centenarian populations. What they found challenged long-standing Western medical beliefs. Lung size and heart output were not the main factors behind longevity. Instead, it was how efficiently oxygen was used at the cellular level. And that efficiency was governed by something far more attainable than genetics or costly medical interventions. Breathing patterns. Not just breathing in general, but a specific rhythm that activates what Stanford researchers now describe as an autonomic reset. A full recalibration of the nervous system that moves the body away from constant stress and into parasympathetic dominance. This is the physiological state where cellular repair occurs, where neuroplasticity is triggered, and where the body shifts from basic survival into active regeneration. The evidence is clear. Regulated breathing improves vagal tone, a measure of activity in the vagus nerve. Higher vagal tone is associated with reduced inflammation, better heart rate variability, and stronger immune response. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that rhythmic breathing can raise BDNF levels by as much as 40% within 8 weeks. That is neurogenesis. That is your brain forming new connections, expanding capacity, and extending functional years. What separates the Japanese method from Western breathing practices is a deeper understanding, one recognized 5,000 years ago and only now validated by modern neuroscience. Breathing is not merely about oxygen intake. It carries information. It is a communication system your cells recognize. And when that communication is precise, the body responds. The technique itself appears simple. It is known as tanden breathing, named after the energy center located approximately 2 inches below the navel. In Japanese tradition, the tanden is viewed as the source of life energy, a storehouse of vitality. In Western physiology, it represents the body's center of gravity and the primary focus of diaphragmatic breathing. This is the pattern: 5 seconds in, 5 seconds holding, 5 seconds out. However, the timing alone matters little without understanding the purpose behind it. When you inhale through your nose for 5 seconds, you are doing far more than just filling your lungs. You are engaging your diaphragm, the dome-shaped muscle that, when working correctly, gently stimulates your internal organs, activates the vagus nerve, and creates negative pressure that helps move lymphatic fluid throughout the body. This represents detoxification at its most basic level. The 5-second hold is where the key effect occurs. This brief pause allows oxygen to fully enter the bloodstream and reach the mitochondria. It also introduces a mild, controlled stress that signals the body to adapt, strengthen, and become more efficient. This is hormetic stress, the same principle behind physical training, except it operates at the cellular level, conditioning your system to utilize oxygen with maximum efficiency. The 5-second exhale completes the cycle. This extended release activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowers cortisol levels, and sends a signal throughout the body that conditions are safe for repair. In this state, energy is redirected away from survival responses and toward regeneration. Autophagy increases. Damaged proteins are removed. Inflammation decreases. Ancient Japanese practitioners described this process as working with prana, the vital life force present in all living systems. Modern science refers to it as optimized gas exchange and autonomic regulation. Both perspectives describe the same process, the body recalling how to repair itself. What makes this breathing pattern especially relevant for longevity is its influence on telomeres, the protective ends of chromosomes that gradually shorten with age. Research from the University of California has shown that stress reduction methods, especially controlled breathing, can slow telomere shortening and may even activate telomerase, the enzyme responsible for restoring them. This is not symbolic anti-aging. It is your DNA responding directly to signals delivered through your breath. Japanese centenarians do not think in terms of BDNF or telomerase. They breathe this way simply because their parents did, and their parents lived into their late 90s. Today, we understand the reason behind its effectiveness. This breathing pattern creates alignment between breathing rate, heart rhythm, and brainwave activity. That alignment can be measured. On EEG scans, it appears as increased alpha wave activity. In blood tests, it shows as reduced inflammatory markers. In brain imaging, it appears as stronger connections between different regions. When you practice the 5-5-5 pattern for just 10 minutes a day, you're effectively giving your body a system update. You are modifying the internal code that controls how your cells handle stress, manage energy, and repair damage. Now, here's what the research teams uncovered that shifted everything. This breathing method activates the foundation of longevity. It functions as a master key, but it is only the first step. Because while the tanden breath recalibrates your autonomic nervous system and improves oxygen use, Japanese centenarians apply an additional practice that increases these benefits by up to 300%. It consists of 6 precise movements performed in a specific order. Each movement is designed to activate parts of the body where stagnation accelerates aging. Tomorrow, I will explain exactly what these movements are and why Harvard researchers describe them as the most efficient longevity protocol ever recorded. These are not exercises in the traditional Western sense. They are biomechanical corrections that take less than 12 minutes and can be performed without getting down on the floor. However, they only work when the nervous system is properly prepared first. That is why the breathing must begin today, right now, not tomorrow or next week. Every day of delay is another day your cells remain in survival mode, rather than shifting into regeneration. Centenarians in Okinawa do not postpone. They do not analyze endlessly. They simply follow what works every single day without exception. And that consistency accumulates over time. 5 minutes today can translate into 7 years of vitality tomorrow. That is not exaggeration. It is supported by long-term data. So here's your practice. Twice a day, morning and evening. Choose a quiet place. Sit comfortably with your spine upright. Place one hand on your tanden, 2 inches below your navel, and begin breathing. 5 seconds and 0.5 seconds hold. 5 seconds out. 10 full cycles. That's it. That is your entry point into a tradition that has supported human vitality for over 5,000 years. Your body already understands how to repair itself. You're not acquiring something new. You are recalling something ancient, something your cells have been ready for you to remember. Tomorrow, we complete the full protocol. Tomorrow, you will see why these 6 movements transform breathing in a whole body regeneration. But everything begins here, with breath, with intention, and with the choice to stop viewing decline as unavoidable. The Japanese have a saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Your 7 additional years begin with your very next breath.